Perez. Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello, Gooners, and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland, episode 6542 of the 23-24 predictions. This is actually my 13th guest, unlucky 13, Trev. It's Trev from the wonderful Guns and Ribbons podcast, and his partner in crime, Fergus, is going to be with me at 7 o'clock. So you're going to be at sandwich back-to-back Guns and Ribbons. You all right, Trev?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. It's lovely to talk to you again, Dan. It's been a while. There was a mention of me coming on with Ferg, but I spend enough time with him. I can't be doing with it, mate.
You don't. He'll only be horrible to you, and he'll try and age shame you, which should be a crime.
Absolutely. Do you know what, Dan? Before you get into this, mate, I must say your intro commentary. It still sends shivers down my spine listening to it.
It is wonderful.
Brilliant. Oh, goosebumps! Yeah, goosebumps.
I made that about this time last year, I think. I thought I'd pull my finger out and try and get one done. And I'm going to try and do some other ones, but it's short and sweet. And because we had to stop using the Right Here, Right Now by Fatboy Slim, because Fatboy's people didn't like it and they kept demonetizing the 50p we make every show. So it didn't work out well. So we had to change it.
Oh, dear.
I know, scumbags. Have you changed your video? Because your video and your audio seem to be top quality. They seem to be better than mine.
Yeah, well, the audio. Oh, what, me now talking to you?
Yeah.
I don't know. More by me, mate. I'm not technophobe. I'm right technophobe. If it's better than yours, it's more by luck than judgment, Danny.
I bet all this time it's Fergus's shitty internet is making you look terrible.
There. Agree. Definitely. Just make sure you mention that to him when you talk to him in a little while, please, mate.
I will point that out to him, and I will make sure that he knows. How you doing? How do you think the pre-season has gone? Because we've been moaning a couple of times that it's not like the good old days where we would get at 5 minutes to 11 o'clock on the last day of the transfer window. We were expected to buy a dozen players under Wenger. Now it's all done. Transfer season's dead to us, isn't it? Nothing's happening. My transfer deadline day podcast, I might as well just not bother now.
Well, it's true, but for me, it's much better, isn't it, Dan? Do you remember how we used to go into the transfer windows full of hope and expectation, and nothing would happen until about 2 minutes to midnight on the last day, and we'd end up with some players that some turned out to be okay and some weren't so okay, were they? So I'm much happier with it now, mate. And I think this particular one's been very good. Very happy with it indeed, mate.
I think we have had probably the best transfer window in a very long time, back to back with the other previous ones that we've had. And it's probably one of the best ones in the Premier League just because of the top quality players that we've got. And it looks like we're going to go after Raya, and kudos to Ajax. What do you think about that?
Well, Raya's come completely out of the blue, hasn't it? I think it's shocked about everybody. I love Ramsdale. I'm a massive Ramsdale fan, and I hope that they can play together for the club if we sign Raya. I am in a bit of shock because I didn't see it coming. But yeah, if we've got two brilliant goalkeepers, that's another position where we're not going to fall short again, isn't it? Because I think Turner's got a good goalkeeper in him, but I think he needs a little bit more development time yet. So that's good. I'm happy with it, to be honest with you, Dan.
Yeah, we've had a couple that are going out. It looks like Aston Trusty's going to go to Sheffield United, which is really good for him. Best player in one of the best centre-backs in the Championship last season with Birmingham. He was their player of the season, scoring goals in the USA national team. And now in the praying that he'll probably be a starter in the Premier League for Sheffield United. And I'd sell Turner. Because he's going to want first team football, isn't he, coming up for the World Cup? And he's not really over-impressed in any of the games that he's played for us, has he? Hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been, there's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I agree. There's talk of him having some negotiation with Burnley, isn't there? And if he does go, I wish him all the best, mate, to be honest. But you're right, he's not looked bad, but he ain't looked anywhere near the class of Ramsdale or a Champions League goalkeeper, is he, to be honest?
It's true. It is weird because I said a couple of times this pre-season that we've got three USA internationals in our team: Turner, Trusty, and Balogun, and they could all be gone this transfer window.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be surprised if Balogun stays. He doesn't look like it, to me, reading between the lines, and it's only me, what do I know? But reading between the lines, I think he wants gone, to be honest, Dan. I think he wants to seek his earnings elsewhere, does Balogun, and if he does, then he does. Not a lot we can do about it, mate.
It gives me flashbacks to a touch of the Anelkas about him.
Yeah, you can't fail to see that. Yeah, you can't fail to see that. The only difference was Anelka had shown us what an amazing player he was. But it'd be something I forever regret, the Arsenal losing Anelka, but so be it,
Yes. Right. So I'm just going to GOONERHILLSY. I couldn't find you on Twitter, and I know we follow each other, but I was just looking for Trev. But so I've got your thing here in the predictions thing to make sure I've spelt it right. HILLSY. Hey, excellent. Me. Right, let's get the prediction screen up, and then we will go through your wise words. So I need to put that on the other screen so I can see what I'm doing. Right, so the first one we are going to do is, hey, there we go. I've got two screens running at once. So I need to make that a little bit bigger, don't I?
I can't see that, Danny boy. My eyes are not the best.
My eyes are weak. My knees are grey.
Oh, here we go. I can see that now.
There you go. We're on the right track now. So just to confirm, your name is Trev and your Twitter is @GoonerHillsy, and you are part of a rogue podcast called Guns and Ribbons. And all these details are on your passport, I take it.
They are indeed, yeah.
Excellent.
Everything. Do you know what? I've never even listened to a podcast before I got invited onto Guns and Ribbons, and I absolutely love it, Dan. I love it on there. And Fergus and me have become very, very close. Joined at the hip, actually. I'll probably speak to Fergus more than I speak to my missus most days, mate, to be honest.
Well, you've got to look after him because he's always getting drunk and falling over, and you need to be there as his bodyguard and make sure he gets home all right.
Absolutely. And he takes some carrying every week, I think, mate. Every week without fail.
And he looks like a slippery character, so it's really quite hard to lift up. So what are you going to go for Premier League winner?
Well, look, right. Obviously, I have to go for the Arsenal, right? I have to go for the Arsenal. But I tell you what, Dan, I think what's going to happen this year is we're going to have 4 or 5 teams all in it. It's not going to be like a 2-horse race like last season. I think Man United will come back at us. I think Chelsea will come back at us. And I think Liverpool have had a good transfer window as well. So it wouldn't surprise me to see us all up there, all beating each other. And I bet if there's 1 point between 5 of us at the end of the season, that'll do for me, as long as we're that 1 point clear, mate. Yeah, so I'll take that.
That'd be wonderful. Don't have to ask you Arsenal's position because obviously first. Top goal scorer for the Arsenal, all competitions. Most people, as you can see from the list, have all gone Saka, 2 for Jesus and 2 for Martinelli. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, do you know what I've written down? I've been very organised, which is unusual for me, Dan. I've written down all my answers, mate. And I've gone for Saka myself because I just see a young player that's been improving year on year on year, and he scored lots of goals last season. And if he improves again, I don't think there'll be any stopping him, to be honest. So I've gone like these boys for Saka.
Yeah, good. Makes sense. That's what I've gone for. So far, we have got exactly the same predictions for the first 3 things. Now then, a little bit of fun. Where's Spurs going to finish this season?
Oh, mate, relegated. They're gone. Finished. Finished. No, that's me heart. My head says, and a lot of it depends on if they lose the cheat, doesn't it? You know,
the diver.
If they lose the cheat, they don't only lose the goals he scores, they lose the goals he wins by cheating. So I'm going to go. Oh, they'd be lucky to get top 8. I'm going to go 9th.
Ooh, lovely. That's same as Tom. Tom said from the Gooner Talk, he said 9th.
Okay.
Who else has said 9th? No, just you and Tom. 13th is the best one, and that was Mike McDonald, the blogger from Gunnerstown, who you probably know. He went 13th, but that was without Kane. Yeah, it all does depend, because if they think they're going to get 30 goals a season out of either, they won't get 30 goals a season between Carlson and Son, let alone individually. And then you would know they'll go and get the 85 million. They'll go and waste it on a load of Spanish players that in 3 years they'll be letting go on a free. It'd be hilarious.
Absolutely.
What have you got for the FA Cup winner? There's been lots of different choices here: Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. What have you got?
Well, I've just seen that you're so organised, you are, Dan. It's unbelievable. This is. I hope Fergus is watching and learning here. This is wonderful to actually be on a podcast with someone that knows what they're doing. It's such a change to being on with Fergus.
Yeah, I can't flog you a second-hand BMW, though, can I? So.
Well, probably not. But then neither could he. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, and that's not far, Dan. He's going to kill me for this.
I know.
Do you know, I've obviously got down the Arsenal because I think that we're due a run in the FA Cup, and I'm hoping that with the bigger depth of the squad, Arteta might treat it with a little bit more seriousness than he has done.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at that one above me, and Aston Villa and my dark horses. So for the FA Cup, but I'm going to put Arsenal for the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for the League Cup then? Because a lot of people have gone Man City because they usually win it. But 3 people have gone for Aston Villa. But the Aston Villa fan didn't go Aston Villa.
Did he
so
not?
Make of that what you will.
Well, the favourites will be City.
Yeah.
I've got down here dark horses and a fine manager with a great history in cup competitions. I'm going to go for Villa as well, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. I shall go and change that to Aston Villa. Because people seem to forget just how good a cup manager that Emery is, and I think they're going to have a really good run. And their league form might suffer, but the Europa Conference League and the League Cup, I think, because the League Cup will be over by the end of February, and so that's one they can aim for, and then still concentrate on the other one. What are you going to do for the Champions League?
Well, the Champions League, am I meant to be chatting between these or just giving you me selections, Dan?
I did one with Carl the other day that lasted 32 minutes. The shortest is 16 minutes. You're on 12. So you chat away. It's just nice to have someone on who makes sense.
Right. Well, you see, the Champions League is the most important competition on the planet to me, Dan, because it's the only competition I've not seen our great side win, you know?
Yeah.
And up until 2 or 3 seasons ago, we were in a place where I thought I'm never going to see my side win the Champions League. I had absolutely no hope. But now I go into this season thinking, yeah, we on our day, we could beat anybody on our day. The Arsenal could beat anybody in the Champions League, right? So I think an English club will win it. I honestly think an English club will win the Champions League again, right?
And this at Wembley.
So I've got to go Arsenal. I can't go for any others.
That's what I've done.
So I've got to go Arsenal.
Well, that is very odd because we've gone for almost exactly the same. We've gone for the same. Arsenal to win it. Saka top scorer. I've gone Spurs 8th. You've gone 9. FA Cup winner Newcastle and Arsenal. We've both gone Villa for the League Cup. Both gone Arsenal for the Champions League. Maybe it's old age has sent us a little bit mad in, but maybe because we've seen so much shit over the years, we can actually see just what quality we've got now. We're making the most of it.
Exactly, mate. Do you know what? That's exactly how I think about it. I've not been this excited about a season. I was excited before last season, but I'm even more excited this season. And it's something we hadn't been able to do for years. I didn't look forward to a season thinking we're going to win or challenge in the league. And now we are. We're that good. Yeah. So now what do you want next, Danny, my boy?
Top goal scorer from the Premier League, but all competitions. Everyone's going Haaland apart from a couple of bloggers that have gone for Martinelli and Kunku. You know what bloggers are like. Yeah. They're off their trolley.
Mate, you've got to go Haaland. You've got common sense has got to prevail there. You've got to go Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, 52 goals in 53 games last season. That's that, and if that's his first season, it makes me a bit worried about what he can do this season. But again, at the end of last season, I think he scored 1 goal in 7 games, which gives us hope. And he wasn't all that great.
Yeah. Well, you see, managers will have been watching Haaland all last season, and they've had a closed season now, and they'll have plans up their sleeve to handle Haaland. So it'll be much harder for him. But he is a bit of a freak show, isn't he? You know what I mean?
He is.
Yeah.
It will come out in the future that he's a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
The Championship, interesting season, league this season with all the big 3 teams that went down, plus all the big Northeast teams that are already in there. The Midlands teams are all broken, and all the Northern teams. So it looks like it's either going to be one of the Northeast teams of Sunderland, Middlesbrough, or it's going to be Leicester or Southampton. What are you going to go for? Because that's the only options so far that anyone's gone for.
Well, do you know what, mate? I haven't gone for any of them. I've got written down here. Either Norwich or Leeds. I've got Norwich or Leeds down. And do you know what I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for Leeds United to win it, mate.
Oh, good. I do like a different one. Leeds United. Why are you picking them?
Well, because I just think that when they went down last year and they had some quality, they struggled with managers. And I think that having a close season, getting the new manager bedded in, I just think that Leeds will come back and be very good again. I think they'll be very good, Dan. And plus the fact it's an easy away trip for me. It's only up the road, So that comes in.
True. I think a lot for Leeds will depend on Patrick Bamford if he stays. Because if he stays fit, he'll get them 30, 35 goals next season in that league if they play to his strengths.
Yeah. Do you know what, Dan? I don't think Bamford was quite good enough for the Premier League. I think he showed that he just wasn't quite the very top striker. But in the Championship, he'll be bullying people about and he'll score plenty of goals, I'm sure, back down there, mate.
It'll be a little bit like Mitrovic and Timo Pukki banging him into the Championship and come up. But Mitrovic managed to do it last season, didn't he? He had a really good run of scoring goals.
Yeah, he did.
As if he doesn't leave and go to play in Saudi Arabia. How about the first manager to be sacked? Not resign or quit, but just told, that's it, pack your bags, get lost.
I would love to. This sounds awful because I like Australians and I lived in Greece. Yeah, but I'd like to see Postecoglou go because that would be awful. But I think, and I can see one other person. I've got it written down. Oh, 2 other people. I've got it written down here. I think that I don't know how you pronounce it. Lopetegui of Wolves. I think he's at risk. He's my choice, but I also as a dark horse. Some other people have put it Moyes. I think Moyes might be under pressure as well,
Yeah.
But I'll stick with the Lopetegui. Is that how you say it?
Doesn't matter. He'll be fired soon. We won't have to worry about saying it anymore. But I picked the Postecoglou from Spurs as well because I think if Harry goes, they are going to be an absolute car crash of a side. So there you go. That's them all done. Any thoughts about anything else you want to say before we go? How do you feel about the midfield 3? What's it going to be? Partey in the Partey role and Rice and Odegaard, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think Partey will probably play how he always has done. Rice will slot nicely into the Xhaka role, and with the greatest respect to Xhaka, I do, and I love Xhaka, by the way. Now,
so do I.
I do think that Rice is a little bit of an upgrade, so that's all good. And Odegaard is just keeping on improving. So I've got absolutely no problem with that. And we've got cover in there as well, I'd love to see Ben White come up and play in the midfield a bit, or even Zinchenko can do it. We've got so many different players can play in different positions. And we know for a fact that's what Arteta likes. He likes to get his players being able to cover different positions. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I have just got one question of you, Dan. So when I win this prediction thing, what do I win? What's my prize?
A night out with Fergus, and he's paying.
Oh my lordy! Please God, don't let me win
it. Just be bragging rights, because the only one who has said Man City for everything was Tom Canton from the Gooner Talk. He said, if my name's going to be on this, I want to make sure I do it properly. So there was no heart in anything he did. It was all head and logic, and I think he could be right. I mean, Man City are in 7 competitions. They did the quadruple this season. Next season, they're in 7, so they could do the septuplet, I think it's called. 7 competitions.
I mean, if I honestly think that Man City are going through a bit of a transitional period at the moment. They've lost a couple of good players, but I don't think that will stop them in the slightest. I don't think that will stop them. My only hope is that, as I say, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, we've all bought. I think Arsenal bought the best of the lot, and I think we'll all run them closer next year. Please God, let us be the ones that runs them closest and beats them.
Yeah. Plus, Liverpool have let best part of 1,000 Liverpool games played players go. 5 or 6 really big name players that are the Champions League winners, Premier League winners, and almost an entire midfield of players have now gone. And you ain't going to replace that and get them working together. I mean, you saw how much they struggled at the beginning of last season with the two new strikers and pushing Salah further out on the right. It is going to be a hard job, and that's when we just need to go and bang and win every single game. We should be beating everybody at home next season.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe draw away to a couple of teams and hopefully do another Invincible.
Do you know what, Dan? It's funny you should say that, mate, because I was talking to a wise old head a few months ago, and he was saying to me, don't worry about winning your home games. To win the Football League, you've got to win in the Northwest. If you've got a winning record in the Northwest, then you ain't going to be far off winning the league. You know, and last year we drew at Liverpool, we lost at Man U, we lost at Everton, and we lost at Man City. So that sort of stands up. I think if we go to the Northwest next year, then 4 games in that corner and bring back 6 points out of 12, we won't be far away. Very
true. Great wise words to end the podcast on. If people want to find you on Twitter, do you want to tell them your personal Twitter account, or do you want to keep that separate?
Well, no, it's on the screen. Gurner Hillsey. I love Twitter. It's the only social media I do, really. I don't do Facebook. I hate that. And of course, Guns and Yellow Ribbons is the podcast. And thank you for having me on, Dan. Loved every second of it.
It was a pleasure. And you really good podcast the other night. You and Fergus and your young man is he from Denmark or Norway or something?
Yeah, Alex. Do you know what, mate? It's a funny, quick story to tell you about Alex and his dad. Right. I'd arranged to meet Fergus in the 12 pins a couple of seasons ago, and I'm grumpy, right? I know I'm grumpy. And I sat in the 12 pins. I was in there early, picked a newspaper up, and I was sat at a table reading the newspaper. And this man and his son came and said to me, "Can we sit? Do you mind if we sit here?" And I went, "No, sit down." I never give him a second thought, you know. Then Fergus came in, and as Fergus does, he started talking to these people, and it was Alex and his dad. And ever since then, we've been firm friends. If it had been down to me, I'd have just kept reading my newspaper, being grumpy like I am. But they're lovely people. We have a lovely little setup on a podcast now. It was great having Sophie on the other night, you know. I love Sophie. I love what she does.
She's great.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for that. Probably the other night with Sophie and Alex was the most enjoyable one I've done yet, to be honest. Apart from this, of course, Dan, I've enjoyed this.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yes,
good. Yeah. So people go to. There's only maybe a handful of Arsenal podcasts I follow on my own personal YouTube account, and yours is one of them. And I'm nearly always in the chat when you're on there, and I really like it. It's mainly because you two are two grumpy old men like me, and I feel a bit of a kinship with you two. So yeah, people go find Guns and Yellow Ribbons on YouTube, subscribe to them. I think you're very close to 1,000 subscribers on there now, aren't you?
We are. Fergus is pulling his hair out because he wants to get to 1,000. So yeah, if anybody's listening and they feel that they can subscribe to us on YouTube, be very much appreciated. Thank you very much in advance.
Lovely. Right, for Trev, thank you very much. It's Fergus up next at 7 o'clock, and I'm now going to go and eat some pizza before the next show.
Can I just give your viewers one warning?
Go on then.
Fergus won't be as good as me. Fergus won't be as good.
He won't. I won't understand a word he's saying.
You won't now because he'll be fuming when he hears what I've said.
He will be. Anyway, Trev, thank you very much for your time, and I will no doubt podcast with you again sometime in the upcoming season.
Thank you, Dan. All the best.
All right. Cheers. See you later.
Bye, mate.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid.
Get down, dog.
Splendid business.
You nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at Ibs, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.